Aloha! In this OPR, you guys are going to see some BOWPR gameplay and commentary along the way. This video will be helpful for those who are learning to PvP or interested in PvP, so I highly recommend you guys to stay tuned. In every start of the OPR with my playstyle, I try to be one of the first to get to the center point, which is in sun, and getting on the walls of the fort, but as you can see, I kind of rolled off of the high ground and it was a simple blunder that gave me my first death. Just by observing, there was more enemies than allies in there, so the better play should have been getting out of the point and resetting. But let's get back to the concept of taking high ground. Having high ground means better positioning. I feel that positioning, especially for a range build, will give you so much value while fighting in the fort. Taking control of the high ground provides me a lot of options on what I could do to support my team. You will also have better vision on potential enemies to target. The enemies that I should be targeting is prioritizing on healers and enemies who are dodge rolling, which means that they are on light armor. As you can see, I left the high ground to go for this potential kill on an enemy that's low on health, but sadly the enemy was a sliver away from dying, and now I'm caught in between so many melee players. And the last thing you want to do is waste your movement abilities like the flash and the evade on the rapier, because now you have no escape. So yeah, I'm just giving you guys a little bit of insight on how I play and think as a bow player when I play this build. And as well, the most interesting thing about this game specifically is that I had such a rough start. I got killed a few times early in the game, and not gonna lie, it did kind of lower my morale, and I was about to show the go next attitude. I know you guys can relate to that, because sometimes, or most times, OPRs can be rough because of all these 5-man stacks, or you know, playing by yourself, and then you end up fighting against more range players against your guys' team with less range players, or vice versa, bruiser players against your team with less bruisers. But anyways, I ended up getting that quick kill confirm right after I respawned. If there's a chance to finish kills, go ahead and kill steal, because you know it's good to finish kills. Right after getting that kill, I ended up getting chased down by 3 more range players and a melee player, so there was no way I'm living that. But hey, you know what? I got 2 kills and 4 deaths. We had a very rough start, but we ain't giving up yet. Also, I want to expand on the whole idea of kill confirming. I talked about healers and enemies that are in light armor are enemies to prioritize killing, but if you see players that are low on health, that is also a plus. In fact, that's the role of a range player. You want to put out a lot of burst damage and help finish those potential kills. And so if teammates are going to complain about you stealing their kills, that means you are doing your job, so don't need to worry about that. I'd rather have these enemies dead instead of complaining about my kill being stolen. The more enemies dead, the easier it is to capture the objective. In continuation, I continued fighting at Baroness, and the same thing has happened to what had happened in the beginning of the match. We were outnumbered. I tried my best to look for some potential kills, or even tried to snipe the Baroness kill, but that ended up not happening. So our score got frozen. Fortunately, the score still seems to be close, and we also ended up defending Star. At this point, I just pretty much spammed heavy attacks to do some stat padding, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe get a nice random kill along the way. I'm gonna tell you one trick that I do while I play bow. If it's hard to see your enemies because of the landscape, I generally use the enemy's red icon target above them as a bullseye, and depending on how far the target is, I will just adjust the angle. Being able to hit some distance shots will take some time and practice. And here is a nice example of prioritizing targets. I noticed that this enemy was a healer, so I prioritized more of my attacks and abilities on this one enemy. Since this healer is being attacked, then there will be less healing output going out to his team, and that's pretty big. I made sure that the enemy healer knows that he's being focused and that he's not safe in the area. While playing bow as well, I like to use 1 to 3 heavy attacks on the same target and really bait out their healing pot usage or even their movement abilities. This is the type of strategy to where it's like, you know, I'm basically trying to soften up their defense and their recovery, and then giving the finishing blow. With the finishing blow, I typically like to do like a 1 to 2 heavy attacks then followed up with a penetrating shot. Then if that doesn't finish them, I hit it with the explosive arrow, and if that doesn't finish them, then I would use rapid shot for the final hits. Just to keep in mind, your combos can always change in an instant depending on your cooldowns and also the situation. Sometimes if they're really close up, light attacks are pretty good to use, and then you have to just really adjust to your combos on what you have at that time. And it's really crazy at this moment of the match. I'm actually shocked that the score is really this close. The fact that we had a terrible start, I thought we were gonna have an awful game. And that's why it's not okay to think of the score and whether you're gonna win or lose. I think it's more important to just focus on how to really contribute with your build the best you can. The enemy team could also try to look for a back cap, but they aren't, so that could also be a factor to why the score is also this close. And the fact that we have fully built doors on Sun, and some kidded PvEers fixing these doors. Pretty funny. But hey, I'm also contributing with my bow build. So also another thing I like to do, and can be a really nice tip for those learning to play the bow, is to find which targets are really taking hard hits from you. If they are taking hard hits from you, then you should strongly focus them down as well. That means they are not really their build is not really focused on mitigating some of your damage when you're playing bow. In addition, I really hope this video will help at least some of you guys who are interested in PvP and are wanting to learn and play the bow build. My channel is focused on providing tips and tricks for PvP and PvE content for New World. So enjoy the last few minutes of the video. For more content like this, feel free to subscribe and check out my other New World videos.
Oh, bro, that dude, he just like glitched way far away.
Out of this.
Fucking hell.
I'm having a solid game here, bro. We caught up and boom, it's killing it.